This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. We are continuing in Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Yud Aleph. We're up to Siv Ches. HaMishtachave lebehema, one who bows down to an animal. Samra pasul tzitzis. Its wool is pasul for tzitzis. So don't do that. Please try not to do that. Do not bow down to your animals, because then the wool will be pasul for tzitzis. HaMishtachave lepishta natua. But someone who bows down to flax that's planted, kosher l'tzitzis, it's kosher for tzitzis. Why? Shahari nishtana. Because the flax will change form. When you bow down to an animal, the wool is the wool. Even though you shear it, it's the same wool. But if you bow down to flax, and then you process it into linen, there's some kind of change, and then, so therefore we say, it is kosher for tzitzis. Says the Mishna Berura, Sivkatan Lamed Hey, Samra, wool. Okay, for those joining, again, the Mechaber said that one who bows down to an animal, the wool is pasul for tzitzis, but if someone bows down to flax that's planted, it's kosher for tzitzis. Says the Mishna Berura, Samra, even though something which is worshipped is only usher to bring as a sacrifice, but for regular, everyday use, it's permitted. So why, if you bow down to an animal, is its wool usher? So why? Since tzitzis is a need of the divine, it's a divine use, therefore it is disgusting for a divine purpose. Because it doesn't really change, because its appearance is still present. It still looks like wool. As opposed to if you bow down to flax, natua, to have a case which is a tree. Flax is like a tree. When you make it into strings, mareu harishain chalaf v'halachlai. Its original appearance changes. So again, the reason why it's asur, normally nevad is mutter lahedyot. So why is it asur? Because tzitzis is tzarchei gavaya, and for tzarchei gavaya, it's disgusting if it doesn't really change. So wool is not really changing, but when you bow down to pishtan, it really does change when you process it. Pasul, ayin b'simin, Tav Kuf Pei Vav b'Magen Avram Sivkatan Vav Demasik Delefidas HaMechaber Sham. Look in Siman Tav Kuf Pei Vav in the Magen Avram. He concludes that according to the Mechaber there, the psul here by tzitzis Eina Rak L'Chadchila Mishum Demas is only L'Chadchila. Aber Diavad Yatsa, but Diavad Yud B'Yotze V'chein Kasav Agab B'Siman Zeh Zolin Diavad B'Machloike Shnuya. Likewise, the Gra says in the Siman that regarding B'Diavad, it would be dependent on a Machloikes. Now, Taf Kuf Pei Vav, by the way, is Hilchos Shofar. You say, wow, how did he know that Taf Kuf Pei Vav is Hilchos Shofar? So I'll tell you a little Rabbi Yaakov Emden. Rabbi Yaakov Emden says the gematria of Taf Kuf Pei Vav is Shofar, and that's why Hilchos Shofar is in Taf Kuf Pei Vav. Let's see what the Mechaber says over there. But imagine the Mechaber says that a shofar which is nevad b'diavad, you are yotzei. I would say that it's not muchach. The Mechaber says that to use a shofar, which is nevad b'diavad your yotzei. There's a very big difference, Rabbi said, between a shofar and tzitzis. Tzitzis is a chefza shel mitzvah. A shofar is not a chefza shel mitzvah, because the mitzvah is not to blow the shofar. The mitzvah is to hear the sound of the shofar. So, okay, but that would be an interesting ha'ara. Sif katan lamed zayin l'tzitzis kasav oilas tamid. The oilas tamid writes that semer shayola be'isa shtachava ne'seres. the wool that's on it when you bow down to the sheep is also certainly what grew after. Because you could say the wool that was there when you bow down, it grew beheter, so maybe that should be mutter. What grows after, it's growing on an animal that is avodah zarah. That's what I would have said. The Menechia writes the opposite. The Mashgadol Achar Shenav Mutter, what grows after, is permitted. I didn't bow down to that. Now, if you bow down to flax which is planted, then it's kosher l'tzitzis. Says the Mishna Berura, afilu aval lepishton shunekar, but linen that's already uprooted, oz nasar afilu hedyoit, then it would be asur even to wear as a regular shirt, kedin avodah zarah v'tikravta, like anything which is avodah zarah and what is worshipped. Bein amoya lo shinoi, changing doesn't help it. Shekol she'ata mehaya mimena harei kamaya, whatever you make of it is like it. So that's why we're talking about where it was attached. If it was not attached, then it would be asur even lehedyot. Let's begin Seif Tes. By the way, the Bir Halacha says that this halacha regarding Pishtan that we just said, that if it was disconnected from the ground, it would be asur. That's only if it belonged to you. But if it belonged to your friend, the Bir Halacha says, "Afilu ein bo shinoi klal lo yinaseh." It wouldn't be asur even if you didn't do anything to it, because ein adam oised davar shenishal. You can't asur something that doesn't belong to you. Va'afilu legavaya asur l'roi poskim nein yachal asur. Even for the sake of the divine, most poskim say that you can't asur. Seif Tes. Yaseh nekev ba'orech hatalis. You should make a hole in the length of the talis. Not above 3 fingers, the hainu gudalin, which are thumbs. The hole should not be further than 3 thumbs away from the edge, because then it's not called a corner, then it's on the beged. So that's the distance. It cannot be more than 3 thumbs. Gudal ad hatzipoiran, and not less than the shear that there is from the joint of the thumb until the fingernail. Why? Because mishum shenemar al hakanaf, it has to be on the corner. If it was less than this amount, it would be under the corner. So it has to be less than 3 thumbs from the corner, but it has to be more than from the joint of the thumb to the nail. Now, does that mean the beginning of the nail or the end of the nail? That we have to see. Let us begin Sivkat Lametes. Ya'aseh nekev. Now, how many holes should the hole have? Probably most people here have 1 hole in their corner. I'm sure you've seen tzitzis that have 2 holes in their corner. Says the Mishna Berura, Kasa Beis Yosef after Yesham Diyasa Shnei Nekavim. Even though some say you should make 2 holes, Kamait Seirei, like it's Seirei. V'yatal Tzitzis Zog and put the tzitzis in it. V'yoytzei Tzarechad and bring it out to one side. Ein lachash lazeh, you don't have to be concerned with that. V'habal lahachmer la'atzei, someone who wants to be stringent to make 2 holes. V'chiyoytzei b'zeh. Einoi min hamachmirin ela min hamatmiin, is not from those who are strict, but from those who you should question, from those who practice astonishing practices. The mechse looks like you're a bal gaiva. Well, everyone else is 1, yeah, but ich bin a besser mensch, and I have to have 2. Ad kan l'shaynai. But ubach kazav talis kadon yasser shtei nekavim. The Bach says on your talis kadon you should have 2 because nobody sees that. There's no gaiva, kim shener klal. Ve'chein kasav kavanas. Arizal also says, the writing of Rabbi Chaim Vital also brings that. Shari zechron levracha noakein. Amnam beberkei Yosef, the Chida brings kasav sheheir ma'arash shamoyreinu Rabbi Chaim Vital aviv loy noakein. That the Chida brings that Rabbi Shmuel Vital said that his father Rabbi Chaim Vital didn't have 2. Poland. In Poland, people have 2 strings on their talis katan. Amda Medinas Hagar, but those Hungarians, Uva Ashkenaz Einoigen Kain, Vinaranaru Pashte. So the first thing is, I'm from Polish descent. I have one hole. What about Lithuanians? We still don't know what they do. You know, Mishna Berura was written in Belarus. What do Russians do? What do Lithuanians do? But either practice seems like a valid practice. By the way, when the Mishna Berura says V'nara naru pashte, does that mean it's a legitimate minhag to have 2 holes on your talis gadol? I would say no. That's going on. Talis gadol, you can only have 1 hole. And if you have 2 holes, Einoi elam min hamatmiyan. The 2 different minhagim are 1 hole or 2 holes on the talis katan. Okay, Rabbi said we're going to hold it over here. We'll continue tomorrow, Bez Hashem. Great to see everyone. Bracha v'atzlacha. Have a great day.
Has Rabbi ever seen a talis gadol with 2 holes?
I don't remember seeing one, but is it possible that Chabad has 2 holes on the talis gadol? But I'm not sure.
No, I'm just really happy. Yeah.
Okay, call tov. Bye-bye.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.